Wild white hair, warm eyes, a slight smile. Everybody knows Albert Einstein. His name has become the word we use when we mean genius. We put his face on posters. We name schools after him. We use his image to sell things. But how true is that story? In 1905, a 26-year-old patent clerk in Bern, Switzerland, published a paper that changed how human beings understand reality. Not a professor, not a celebrated scientist. A clerk, reviewing other people's inventions, working the big problem on the side. The paper was on special relativity. Here is a simple example to illustrate what that means. Two friends. One is on a moving train. One is standing by the road, watching that train go past. The friend on the train throws a ball straight up and catches it. To her, the ball just went up and came back down. To the friend standing outside, that same ball traveled a long distance through the air, because the train kept moving while the ball was in the air. Same ball, same throw, two completely different experiences of what just happened. Einstein showed that time works the same way. If you were traveling close to the speed of light, your clock would tick more slowly than the clock of your friend standing still. Time doesn't flow at the same rate for everyone. It depends on where you are and how fast you're moving. Einstein didn't walk a straight path to that desk. When he first applied to the university in Zurich, he failed the entrance exam. He was 17. The school turned him away. He spent a year at a prep school, reapplied, and got in on his second attempt. In that same physics program, there was a young woman from Serbia named Mileva Maric. She'd traveled from her home country to study in Zurich because it was one of the very few places in Europe that would admit women to a serious science program at all. She not only passed the entrance exams, but was so brilliant she was accepted into the school. In a world where men dominated science and thought women to be inferior creatures, this was an incredible accomplishment. Einstein and Mileva fell in love. They studied together. In the letters they wrote to each other, letters still around today, Einstein refers to their theoretical work as our work, our theory, our investigation. When the papers were published in 1905, they carried one name. Mileva failed her final exams, but failure is the wrong word for what happened to her. In 1902, she gave birth to a daughter named Liesel, unmarried, secret, alone. What became of that child is one of history's quiet tragedies. She either died very young or was given away. Nobody knows. Mileva never spoke of her again. Carry that. Carry that loss while sitting down to advanced physics exams. Carry it alongside the knowledge that Einstein's mother despised her, thought her too bookish, too serious, not the right kind of woman for her son. Albert didn't fight it hard enough. The marriage she'd been waiting for came years too late. The weight of all that, the grief, the shame, the waiting, would have broken most people. For Mileva, it broke her exams. She failed them twice. Her academic career ended there. His continued. In 1933, Einstein fled Germany. He was Jewish. The Nazi regime had come to power, and his work had already been publicly attacked. He crossed the Atlantic and settled in Princeton, New Jersey. He never returned to Europe. Mileva stayed in Zurich. She raised their two sons alone. One of them, Eduard, developed schizophrenia. She spent her remaining years caring for him. The brilliant woman who'd once solved physics problems alongside Einstein, now quietly disappearing into the demands of a difficult life. Einstein's ideas, or perhaps Einstein and Mileva's ideas, rewrote physics in ways that quietly run through your daily life, whether you know it or not. Every time your phone finds your location, it's using GPS satellites orbiting the Earth. Those satellites have to account for the fact that time runs very slightly faster in space than it does on the ground. If nobody had corrected for that, Your GPS would drift by several kilometers every single day. The correction comes directly from relativity. When doctors use MRI machines to look inside the human body, the technology depends on our understanding of how atoms behave, understanding that flows from the same era of physics. The screen you're watching this on, the device in your pocket, the global communications network that delivered this video to you. All of it traces back in one way or another to the revolution that began with a patent clerk in Bern in 1905. We built the modern world on these ideas. We just never agreed on whose ideas they were.